How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tales from the Darkside. This is Season 3, Episode 8, and this one's entitled A Serpent's Tooth. This is from November 16th, 1986, and is directed by Frank DePalma and written by Edithe Swensen, both of who are series regulars. This episode stars Renee Taylor, Quinn, Joann, Willette, and Marx. And in this episode, we get an overbearing mother who is given a magical serpent's tooth, and all her little motherly warnings start to come true. Don't do that, you'll twist your ankle. She does. Your face will get stuck that way. It does. But what happens when someone with seemingly good intentions gets unlimited and unchecked power? Crazy stuff, right? And overall, I do like the concept. However, with the case of this episode, I like the concept a lot more than I like the actual execution in this. You know, it's a be careful what you wish for type concept. Those are always great and fun. And the idea that the little exaggerated warnings your mother would give you would actually be true and something to fear, I mean, that's an interesting reinterpretation on the wish concept. But this is one of those, a few things. It is more comedy than horror, and like I've said a lot of times in the past, Darkside's weakest stuff are when they try to do comedy. It just a lot of times doesn't stack up and feels quite old-fashioned, and this is not as bad as something like A Case of the Stubborns, which I'll probably always cite as the worst Darkside episode. It's not anywhere as bad as that, but it's not really super scary, and it's kind of old-timey, jokey stuff, and it's not the best. But the big thing with this, and what gets me to absolutely really not like it, is the characters don't pay enough attention to the rules. This episode really isn't super well thought out, and, you know, it takes them a while just to get what's going on. And then when they do, a lot of their problems have super easy solutions, but no one thinks, how can we master the serpent's tooth, and how can we properly use this thing? Instead, the characters all bumble around haphazardly. Some people in this episode get super screwed over, and it's not like it's anything you couldn't fix, and it's just they're too dumb to fix it. And I'll get more into this as I go on, but so many times in this episode, you find yourself, like, wanting to scream at the TV, just do this, this will fix your problems. And of course they don't listen because they're on TV. But overall, I don't like the humor as well, and this episode really isn't as thought out as it needs to be, and it just gets frustrating. You know, you're not laughing, you're just, you know, upset. And I guess let's get into that. Let's take a moment and break this episode down. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I am going to be talking a bit about the plot and analyzing in particular with this episode where the characters aren't thinking about the rules. Anyway, we open up with an overbearing mother upset at her kids. The son isn't actually too bad. He's in college and he wants to switch his major from dentistry to agriculture, which the mother is really upset at. And maybe she's upset because they're trying to show that she just doesn't really get things, and she's the type of person who will make a strict judgment call when she doesn't understand the situation and then not back out. I don't know. Agriculture is a perfectly valid major. People are always going to need to eat. The son is spending his free time reading about it, showing he clearly has an interest. And the mother is absolutely upset by it, saying he wants to study salads. And that's not really the case. if they wanted to make the mother more in the right, they could have given him something like, an arts degree he was going after, because that has a much higher failure rate. But, agriculture, really, that's a good career path. I don't know why the mother was so upset. The mother being upset at the daughter, I see more. The daughter is dressed kind of trashy by the mother's standards, at least, and she's with a boyfriend who's clearly not too serious, and the mother is worried about how far they're going. Now, especially by today's standards, the mother does seem pretty prudish, but that being said, relationships are something that people can quite easily hurt each other with. So I can see the mother's concerned, especially because this guy really isn't super serious, so I get where she's coming from, even if she is overreacting a bit. But she's worried about her 2 kids, and in turn, she starts to talk to her friend. Her friend is some sort of scholar. They never really explain what's going on, but he listens to her problems, and he'll give out the piece of advice. It's a quote: "How sharp is the serpent's tooth than the thankless child?" Hence the name of the episode, right? But he proceeds to give her a literal serpent's tooth. And this, of course, is actually a magical relic. Now, why did he just give this to her? I don't know. He made it sound like he needed to get rid of it for some reason. I don't know. But here, let's just hand this random woman a super powerful magical charm and also give her the vaguest of warnings. If you're going to give someone something this powerful, spell it out, be super clear, tell them what it does, what its powers are, explain everything. Don't just say, "Oh, be careful what you wish for, bye." Also, the serpent's tooth, big freaking tooth, and obviously it's so you can see it on TV, especially really small 1980s TVs, but it looks more like a lion's or a tiger's tooth. Yeah, it's a comically large. Man, what is this serpent here? Is it the famous basilisk or something? But anyway, really large serpent tooth. The mother gets it, and the kid is in the living room reading his book, again, showing general interest in his field, reading outside of curriculum. And the mother starts to say things like, "Oh, don't do that, you'll go blind," or "be careful or you'll get sick." And then she starts to talk about the electronics and start listing all the electronics that she didn't have back in her day, and they're going to start disappearing. There goes the TV, there goes the VCR. A fun little effect, even if it is just a cut. Well, with a fade, so it's a little more advanced. But then, the daughter comes down, she's wearing these high heels, and she says, "Oh, be careful in those, you'll twist your ankle." And I think I see where all this is going. The kid's going to lose his vision, he's going to start to feel sick, the daughter will twist her ankle, and they'll notice the electronics are gone, and even though it's a bunch of super specific events, the mother's gonna think they're just robbed and just go, "Oh, my poor kids," and not get that everything she said came to light. It's not until the much more obvious thing, they have a little neighbor kid who doesn't have much to do with the story other than giving the mother one more victim, and he does the tongue out face at the mother, meh, and the mother says, "You do that and your face will get stuck like that." And that's when they notice, hey, it turns out the serpent's tooth has power. And the mother says, "Chicken soup is the universal cure." And she has them all go and eat chicken soup, and that cures them of all their negative ailments. Now, that being said, I do want to point out the kid, the neighbor kid, is not her kid. So it's not just power over her kids, it's power over reality itself. But also, like, what's the radius and extent of this power? Because the mother just said, chicken soup is the universal cure. It's clearly power beyond just her family. Are a bunch of people like cancer patients in hospitals gonna eat chicken soup and become miraculously better? Did she just cause an unforeseen massive ripple in Earth history when one day chicken soup just made everybody better, and then the prices of chicken broth skyrocket to unbelievable extents? I don't know, and you may think, hey Zach, you're overanalyzing this episode. Later on in this episode, through a throwaway line of dialogue, the characters accidentally confirm the existence of God. There is no overanalyzing this episode. We have to establish rules, and these characters do not care about the rules or analyzing them or anything like that. So yeah, what can chicken soup do? Obviously, the plot leads to the kids eventually obeying her, but resenting her even further. Will she see the error of her ways? Will she see how dangerous this necklace is? Will she give it up? Maybe. We'll have to see the rest of the episode for that. I want to go back to ranting about the rules, you know? First of all, there's a scene where she says, young woman glow, and then the daughter starts glowing this big red laser out of her face, and it shines at the people, and it's a decent effect, especially for Darkside 80s TV budget. And then the mother goes, oh, I'm sorry, young girls don't glow. So any problem they have with the rules, the mother could simply say, oh, it's not that. And the mother never thinks of this, and there's some people that get screwed over, and the mother could simply say, it's not what I just said, and flip it back. And there's especially one character who's not the best guy that gets totally screwed over, and these dumb idiot characters can't figure out how to help him when all the mother would have to say is the opposite. And even if that doesn't work, I thought chicken soup was the universal cure. We can't just pour chicken soup on this guy. It gets frustrating. Also, there's things like all the electronics disappear, and she doesn't think to go, oh, we do have the TV, and make the TV come back. But if she can summon objects, why can't she just say, oh, we do have a big pot of gold? You know, you could really set your life a lot better, you know? Like your son, oh, he's not interested in the topic I want him to be interested in, but what does it matter what he's interested in? You could just say, my son is a genius, and then he would be, and then you could say, my son has $5 billion. And then what does it matter what his career is if he's super smart with $5 billion? But the mother never thinks to do anything close to this. It's a super powerful thing. No one's analyzing it. No one's trying to take advantage of it. No one's seeing what the rules are. They're haphazardly stumbling their way through life. And when you do genie rules, monkey's paw things, it's all about the analysis and figuring this thing out. And also the mother makes a ton of mistakes. Things she clearly didn't mean to say. Things she didn't want to happen. And that's because, you know, this serpent's tooth, it's on a chain, and whenever she wears it, that's when she has the power. If she takes it off, she doesn't have the power. That's like carrying a loaded gun around and pointing it at people at eye level. If you don't intend to use it, take it off. If you're worried they'll mess with you, then before you take it off, wish for an impenetrable safe that only you can open. You know, think things through. Don't just carry the serpent's tooth on you because you'll say something you don't mean and someone will get screwed over. But she never thinks to take it off when you're not using it. Point the gun up or down, you know, better yet in your holster. But still, she never thinks to take it off. And I know I may be overanalyzing it, but the episode tries to go, woohoo, we're a fun comedy episode. But rather than being able to sit back and laugh, and like I said, not all the humor dates super well anyway, it just kind of feels like old-timey, woohoo, we're so silly. And well, not that bad, but you can tell what they're kind of going for, and it's not as bad as Case of the Stubborns, but it wants to be this funny TV episode, and it's not something I would really enjoy too much anyway, but I can't get into the humor when all the characters are being so frustrating and not giving their situation any thought, and I shouldn't vent too hard, but this was just one that it got to me how unthought out this episode was, and how all the problems have easy solutions, because, you know, it's not like a monkey's paw where you have limited wishes or anything like that, and it's not trying to turn him bad, it's just what she's saying. And okay, I said I'd stop ranting. I'm usually not this negative, and I in general really do like this show. And anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Tales from the Darkside playlist. If you guys want to see me review, you should be able to find all the past episodes of the show in there. Again, I'm not usually this ranty, and a lot of it is just me enjoying the show. But yeah, when an episode's bad, I do have to say it. You should also find Season 1 and 2 overviews, the Joe Hill comic, and I did cover a few of the Christmas episodes a little bit early. So if you guys want to see more Darkside, there should be over 50 videos in this playlist. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.